Barney was an entirely normal, ordinary young man. He was a little bit anxious, he was quite shy. He was good looking, everybody thought he was a nice guy. And I think that's what shocked people, why? Why would somebody like Barney choose to end their life? He was lovely, he was quite bright, some good A-levels, got a place at university, met this girl, that relationship suddenly ended, and we don't know why. He gradually became more and more lacking in hope. And at the end of August, he remarked that life without her wasn't worth living. And we, of course, told him not to be so melodramatic. And on the 18th of September, he took his own life.
And how is that as a parent?
I can remember feeling that I wouldn't be able to cope with this. This was too much. And then I remember feeling rather angry, not with anybody other than myself, because I thought, here I've spent my life working with young people, and yet here was my own son who hadn't been able to cope with life, and I hadn't been able to prevent that. I remember thinking, well, what does one do now, half an hour after you've been told that your son has taken his own life? Does one make a cup of tea? Do you go for a walk with the dogs? Do you cry? What does one do?
So why don't young men get help?
For years, we've always been the ones that are tough, that sort things out, that deal with problems, that solve problems, not that need problem solving for them, and that is a weakness. Us blokes, we've got other things to do, and we've got one or two problems, but mine's a pint, I'll come to the football, thanks very much. And eventually, the expectations that we have of ourselves, that our parents have of us, that schools have of us, that our peer group has of us, is huge. And it is much greater than it ever was in my generation. Are you as good looking as that person? Are you as clever as that person? Are you as this? Are you as that person?
Are you a success or are you a failure?
Are you a failure, my God? And I will tell children I speak to, you're all going to fail. That's the way it is. And how we deal with that failure, how resilient we can be, will very largely determine whether we are going to be emotionally and mentally well throughout our lives. But it is going to take an awful lot to change that generation after generation of men wanting to be seen as men, rather than being prepared to say, hey, I cry. That's what I do. That's how I've survived Barney, by having a good cry quite regularly. And I get some strange looks, but that doesn't bother me.